What do we have here?
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, I know that there's been a lot of discussion about this bill coming forward today. Everyone has different perspectives on it. I would like to, with permission, though,
That sound.
we have a lot of people watching online that haven't.
Texas.
Thank you, Mr. President.
The Texas Senate map passes as Democrats storm out. You see that? Y'all see this? Did y'all hear that, though? That was the sound of power slipping through their fingers. The walkout was supposed to be their statement. But all it really did was give Republicans the perfect backdrop for, a legislative slam dunk, if you will. The Texas Senate didn't just pass a map. They passed a political earthquake, if you will. And guess what? It's only step one. But when Democrats realize the quake is still rumbling, that's when the real panic actually sets in. The same Texas Democrats who voted for the exit are now shuffling back in. Heads down to the very chamber that they abandoned. They claim they accomplished their mission. Yeah. The mission of embarrassing themselves twice in one news cycle. More than that if you, kind of on an individual basis. But that'd be called a second special session. And the same map they tried to kill is waiting right there on their desk. And that map isn't just, lines on paper. It's career ending. And their careers ending in real time. Starting with, this one.
Everybody knows who Jasmine Crockett is right about now. And, well, let's just say she's got the attention of Doge after all the crap she's been talking about Elon. Elon posted on X the other day, "Well, Jasmine, I see that you make $174,000 a year, but in the 18 months that you've been in the House of Representatives, you have purchased a $5 million house in Texas. You have a $2.5 million lake house and another house you bought for $1.5 million. So Elon and the United States government, along with so many more citizens, would love to know, Jasmine, how did you buy all that?"
Uh-oh. 5 GOP seats gained.
Everybody knows who
5 Democrat seats gone. Translation, Jasmine Crockett's career in Congress just got a thank you for your service notice. But here's the kicker. 3 new homes totaling $10 million. Bought on a $174K salary in less than 2 years. That's not just bad math. Now, let's start lawyering shop. Let's start the lawyer shop this thing right now. That's that type of map. The left can scream about Republicans drawing maps all they want. But if those maps also reveal their financial fingerprints, hey, that's game over. And speaking of replacements, Texas has someone ready to fill that seat who actually knows the district and lives in it.
Hey everybody, so out in the community. I'm actually outside of TX30 right now, but I'm only about 2 miles away. I wanted to stop by my old elementary school, or the site of it. My old school isn't here anymore. It's like a new place, but I just wanted to show you guys, I'm actually from here. My roots are here, not anywhere else. Make the smart decision. First of all, elect somebody that's from the community to speak for and represent the community. Someone who has a lot of ties to the community and is not just here trying to pad their political resume. Number 2, send someone to Capitol Hill that can actually represent you effectively. Preferably a member of the ruling party or the majority party, and preferably someone that has a little bit of influence or sway, or at least the respect of the other people on Capitol Hill. Don't send someone to Capitol Hill that is a part of the minority party that is out of power, and then even within that party, they don't have any respect from any of their own party members. That just doesn't make any sense. You're tying both your hands behind your back. You're shooting yourself in the foot. You're gouging both your eyes out, cutting your nose off, all to what? Spite Donald Trump? We got to be smarter than this, people.
Sholdon Daniels isn't flying in for photo ops. He's from there. He knows the streets, the people, the culture, and unlike Crockett, he walking to Congress with a majority party behind him, not shouting from the cheap seats in the majority. Representation isn't about who shouts the loudest on Twitter, by the way. It's about who can actually get something done for you in a room where the decisions are actually being made. And in that same room, guys, there's another name that's about to get dragged in. Not to legislation, but to face a judge. Ooh, let me bring this on. So Kim Paxton just put Beto O'Rourke. Thank y'all for telling me how to say his name. Y'all, it was real easy to remember. Y'all said it rhymes with dork. Yeah, but they put O'Rourke on notice. Now, you're not above the law. And Texas isn't playing ref for your fundraising games either. Y'all see this right here, man. Violate a court order, mock the rules, and keep the money machine running? That's not activism, y'all. That's contempt of court. In Texas, contempt comes with bars, not applause, okay? But while Texas is cleaning the house, California is running a completely different kind of operation, yo. And let me warn you, it's not democracy that they selling.
Oh, yes. I announced it this week, Trace, in Sacramento, but just a couple of points of context. Number one, the Democrats in California already have the largest cache of stolen seats because of the gerrymandering they've already done. If we had fair representation in California, Republicans would have an extra 12 House seats today. But we don't, and he wants to make it worse. And why does he want to make it worse? In his own words, to end the Trump presidency. He wants to overturn the result of the last election, flip the House, impeach President Trump. I'm not going to let it happen. This week I announced a lawsuit that I will file in state court and in federal court because Gavin Newsom's scheme to steal another 6 House seats violates the California state constitution's equal protection clause as well as the federal constitutions. And I'm going to make sure, one way or another, that we stop this absolutely outrageous power grab. Oh, yes. I announced it this week, Trace.
Gavin Newsom isn't retaliating for Texas. He's perfecting the art of the political smash and grab. Already stole 12 Republican seats through gerrymandering. Now he's aiming for 6 more. Why? To flip the House, impeach Trump? Overturn 20. California's independent commission was supposed to make maps fair. But just like every other Democrat promise, fairness got traded for power. The second they smelled some opportunity. What a shame. I mean, what more is this besides insurance for Democrats? And if you think I'm exaggerating, watch this next clip and tell me democracy isn't their code word for keeping control, if you will.
Hey, President Trump, it's time to stand down. It's time to make another phone call to Greg Abbott. This time, instead of calling him and telling him you're, quote unquote, entitled to 5 congressional seats, it's time to tell him to stand down. It's time to recognize that democracy is at risk.
Remember what I said about Democrats talking about democracy being at risk. Remember what I said about Democrats talking about democracy being at stake or democracy being on the ballot. When you hear Democrats claiming democracy is at stake, replace the word democracy with Democrats' political power. So what Gavin Newsom is really saying is Democrats' political power is at stake. So he's hiding behind morals and democracy in order to try to put pressure on Texas to not do something that would harm Democrats' chances at political power. If Democrats in California were so worried about democracy and voters not being disenfranchised, their electoral map would look different. In California, 58.5% of voters voted for Kamala Harris and 38.3% voted for Trump. Now, if you go to the U.S. House of Representatives, 82.7% of those representatives are Democrats. Only 17.3% are Republicans. The Democrats get 58.5% of the vote, but they get 82.7% of the representation in Congress. That is not by accident. And now he's talking about adding more seats, which would then move Democrats' representation to 92.3%, and Republicans' representation would be 7.69%. Republicans would have 4 out of 52 seats, even though Republicans have almost 40% of the vote. But let's let him continue.
Founding fathers, 249 years. We're not going to sit back passively. We're not going to sit back and watch you light democracy on fire. We will fight fire with fire.
Translation, we're not going to sit here and let you destroy Democrats' federal political power. So we're going to fight fire with fire by making sure that 93% of representation in this state goes to Democrats and only 7 goes to Republicans to make sure that we can win on the federal level. He's not worried about democracy. He's not worried about being virtuous. He's worried about winning. If they were so virtuous and so worried about voters being disenfranchised and democracy, they wouldn't have one of the most partisan-leaning district maps in the United States. It would be much closer to the actual representation of how people vote in their state. They're hypocrites and they're trying to weaponize morality in order to try to get more political power. Also, just a reminder, I have a free email newsletter on Substack where I break a lot of these things down in more detail. I also can't be censored there, so I can say things here that I can't say on many of these platforms. The link to this is in my profile. Just go to my profile, click the link, drop your email, and hit subscribe, and you'll be good to go. That's all I got for now. We'll see you in the next one.
There it is. I mean, in his own words, right? Harris get 58% of the vote. Democrats get 82% of the seats, and Republicans get nearly 40% of the vote, but barely 17% representation. And Newsom has the nerve, I mean the audacity, right, to claim democracy is at risk. And I love how he, told us to replace democracy with Democrat, political power. But yeah, they claim that democracy is at risk in Texas. In Texas? No. What's at risk is Democrats losing a rig they've been running for decades. This is why they, often pandemic red states play the same rules. They don't like being treated how they treat people. That's just not in their formula. Because deep down, they know the entire playbook falls apart when the game is actually fair. It's funny how that works, right? This isn't about protecting democracy. This is about protecting themselves. Every speech, every walkout, every fake moral high, it's a smokescreen, if you will, to try to keep grip on their power while pretending they are the heroes. But we know that that's not true. But the maps are changing, the seats are flipping, the receipts are piling up. Same thing, they're running out of places to hide. Keep watching, keep sharing, be safe. Go check on a friend today. You can quite literally be saving their life. Peace.